Am I the asshole for telling my son, daughter-in-law that it's not my fault their wedding was upstaged by my 50th birthday party? In my social circle, your 50th birthday is a huge deal. I haven't celebrated my birthday for a while. My last real birthday party was Sweet 16. Overall, I have been saving for this party for years, and all the family knows. My son, and now daughter-in-law, told me about a year ago that they were going to get married about a week after my birthday. I told them that it will happen after my 50th, and he has been to these parties before, and they are a big deal. He literally got blasted at his aunt's 50th before. I told him I am also not going to tone it down, and he said he didn't care. My party has over 100 guests and had a lot of bells and whistles. My son's wedding was this weekend, and both events got compared. It was basically what people were talking about. My son and daughter-in-law were cold to me during the wedding. I got a call from my son, and it basically boiled down to, I need to apologize for outshining their wedding, that people were calling his event cheap, and overall seemed to prefer my event. I told him I am not apologizing, that I warned him months ago, and he said he was fine with the party, that it is not my fault that it was upstaged by my party. They chose the date, knowing how those parties are. This started an argument, and they both told me I was a huge jerk. Likely not the asshole. Sounds like they had all the info to see this coming, and assuming you were fully supportive and celebratory about their nuptials. Unless you're not telling us everything, and your party was unexpectedly wedding-ish or oddly competitive in a way you would have anticipated and should have avoided. It wasn't wedding-ish. I rented a really venue that has a private beach/pools, just a lot of drinking and fun. Think of a big pool party for adults. Question: why are your guests so incredibly rude as to compare your party with your son's wedding and state that they felt the wedding came up short? I don't know anyone this obnoxious, and I know some obnoxious people. Not really. I noticed people talking about my party, but I usually moved the conversation away from it when I was in the conversation. No one super rude form what I saw. I don't know who called the wedding cheap. That came from my son. Not the asshole, but anyone who is trash-talking your son's wedding or TA. I'm turning 50 next year, and in my friend group, it's a huge milestone. We do parties, trips, we constantly talk about being able to join the Golden Girls squad. As we get older, we have few things to get excited for. 50th birthdays are a big deal. You have every right to celebrate it how and when you choose. Your son is not the asshole for hosting his wedding near your birthday. Again, he and his finance have every right to celebrate where and how they choose. But who are these AHs that are going to trash talk a wedding and make your son and his wife feel bad? Heck, they just had 2 events with free food and booze. They should just enjoy and appreciate you all thought highly enough of them to include them in both of these wonderful milestone celebrations. To clarify, days apart, and one was a birthday party, the other a wedding. So who is stirring the pot by comparing these separate events and finding your son's wedding lacking in some way? You said they were compared, but by who? Whoever is being negative about your son's wedding. Pretty rude if you're a guest at either to unfavorably compare the two. Am I the asshole for banning my parents from a family event because they don't like my brother's wife? So my 30 female little brother is 23. I have another brother that's 20, but this is about the 23-year-old who I will call Blake. A few months ago, Blake eloped with his girlfriend Shay, 19 female. Our parents and my 3 sisters, Mary 22F, B 27F, and Sarah 25 female, were livid. Like unusually angry. I was a little confused, but I spoke to him, and to me, it seemed like he and his girlfriend loved each other very much, and just made the rash decision to elope in Vegas. We live about 3 hours from Vegas, so it's a popular day trip destination, so they were there for the day and eloped. Like, yeah, it was a little silly, but I don't understand why they're so angry about it. Blake and Shay didn't even tell anyone about their marriage until 2 months later. Blake and Shay are a very wholesome and, dare I say, perfect couple. They very obviously love each other, live together, and split the bills. Both study very good degrees and have 2 cats. I've always said you can't put a timeline on life if they want to do marriage earlier than usually. Who cares? My parents have made a point to not invite Shay to any family events since they'll call up Blake and say, "Don't bring your girlfriend." They refuse to acknowledge the marriage. Blake came the first 2 times they did this, but left very early, and he's always politely declined all invitations since then. I've tried to tell my parents that they are pushing Blake away, and soon they can expect to never hear from him again, but they don't seem to care. They take every opportunity to insult Shay, even though they used to love her before the elopement. It's my son's birthday soon, and I'm planning a big party. I sent the guest list in a family GC, and my parents saw that Shay was invited. They demanded that she's taken off, but I refused. They were acting in a way that made me suspect they were going to make a scene there, so I banned them. I don't want them to isolate my younger brother, and he hasn't been to any family events since he got married, besides the 2 he left early. They are infuriated. They are threatening to show up anyway, and think I have no right to ban them for someone who isn't part of the family. My sisters and youngest brother think I am overreacting, and I could have instead warned them to behave and told them they would be removed if they couldn't do so. They think the ban is nuclear. My parents are demanding an invite and an apology. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your parents didn't get the memo that children grow up. They deserve to be banned, and they should stay banned until they apologize and learn how to behave. It's easy for your other siblings to say you've overreacted because it's not their situation. I'm sure your brother will appreciate the support. I currently am the only one with kids, so my parents would be pretty upset if I banned them from seeing their only grandkids. My brother definitely appreciates my support in his own way. He's usually very quiet and not that expressive, besides when he's with Shay, and he randomly texted me the other day that he wishes he invited me to the elopement. It was very touching, an invite and an apology when hell freezes over. Shay has done nothing wrong, and your brother is happy. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Honestly, if I was your brother, I'd make a certified copy of the marriage certificate, laminate it, and send it to your parents. Refusing to acknowledge the marriage, who do they think they are? My husband, who is ever the troublemaker, suggested that, and my brother thought it was a great idea but never did it. I'm going to bring it up to him again, no mayo. He should have showed up with his wife anyway, and when they protested, been all, "What's the problem? I didn't bring a girlfriend." Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.